Okay, so knowing how to work with functions is an absolute must if you want to be successful in algebra. And of course, I know that you do. But a lot of students get confused about functions because of the notation. It is a little bit different, and you never really kind of see this stuff in algebra until you run into, or this notation, if you will, until you run into functions. But here is the problem. We have f of x is equal to x squared minus 4x, and we want to evaluate this function for f of a plus b. What is this equal to? Well, again, a lot of students just simply won't know where to start, but we're going to correct that if you're a little bit lost with this problem. But if you know what you're doing, go ahead and put your answer into the comment section. I will show you the correct answer in just 1 second, and then of course I will fully explain this problem in a clear and understandable way. But before we get started, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is John, and I have been teaching middle and high school math for decades. And it really is my true passion to try to make learning math as easy as possible. So if you need assistance in math, check out my math help program at tcmathacademy.com. You can find a link to that in the description below. And if this video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Okay, so let's go and take a look at the answer. Again, we have this function f of x is equal to x squared minus 4x. We want to evaluate this function for a plus b. What is the answer? Well, if you did this correctly, you would have come up with this. A squared plus 2ab plus b squared minus 4a minus 4b. All right, so how did you do? Well, hopefully you're like, yes, this is super easy, Mr. YouTube Math Man. This is not that difficult. Well, that is fantastic. We must celebrate your success with a nice little happy face and A plus, a 100%, and multiple stars. So you can brag to your friends and family that indeed you are a certified professional expert when it comes to the area of evaluating functions with variable expressions. They'll have no idea what that means, but it just sounds so cool. It just sounds so, like technical. Maybe you should just put like a PhD in front of your name and call yourself Dr. Math. All right, but for those of you that are like totally lost, this is not that difficult, right? Oftentimes in mathematics, what's confusing is the notation. Remember, math is a language, and of course, if you saw some language you don't know, and there's some like symbols or whatever like this, you're going to be like, I don't know what that means. Not that it's not difficult, you just don't know what it means, right? And in mathematics, it kind of works the same way. So let's go ahead and get into the solution right now. Okay, so as I said in the beginning of this video, you must understand functions, okay, and function operations. This is extremely important in all of mathematics, especially algebra. So this is not one of these things that you can be like, yeah, I really don't want to learn this. I'll just kind of skip this part of math and move on. Well, you're not going to be successful in algebra if you don't get this down, and it's not that difficult. All right, so first of all, let's just kind of do some basic review here. And let's just talk about what a function is. So effectively a function, there's many different ways you can define it, and you kind of need to know those various aspects of functions, but let's just kind of make it nice and simple. A function is simply a rule. Okay, that's what it is. We have an input value. We're going to put something in, and then we have this rule, okay, that we're going to take this input value, okay, we're going to do something to it, which is this rule, and then we're going to get some sort of output value. Now, we don't have to get all technical right now and talk about the input value is what we call the domain, the output value is called the range, etc., etc. This is, of course, important, but not for this particular video. So we'll just kind of keep it nice and basic for those of you that are, a little bit shaky on functions. Okay, so that's all it is, right? We have a rule, and the x, and this could be any variable. You could have y, but effectively is whatever we plug in here is our input value. We just simply replace all these other x's with this input value. So let's go and see how this works here real quick before we tackle this problem. Let's find f of 2 of this function. Okay, we're going to find f of 2 of this function. So what does that mean? Well, here is our function, and if we want to evaluate the function for 2, and that's basically the directions here, we would say evaluate this function for f of 2. Okay, that's a big word in mathematics, evaluate. But all we're saying here is replace this x with 2. Okay, so that's what this means. So if we're going to replace this x with 2, Well, we've got to replace all these x's right here with 2 as well. So wherever we see an x, we're going to plug in a 2. And by the way, a little note, when you plug in or substitute values into a function or any other variable expression, always use parentheses. Okay, always, always, always use parentheses. So f of 2 for this particular function is going to be equal to 2 squared minus 4 times 2. And now we can just simply do the math here. So our 2 squared, excuse me, is 4 minus 4 times 2 is 8. So 4 minus 8 is going to be a lovely negative 4. So f of 2 is equal to negative 4. Now, again, there's a lot of different aspects I'm not even getting into about functions that you need to know, and they're all important topics about, what the kind of more technical definition of a function, how to find the domain and range of functions, graph functions, etc., etc. Huge, huge topic. So if you are studying functions right now in your class, let me give you a few quick suggestions. One, I have a ton of additional videos on all topics, functions on my YouTube channel. But if you really want my best instruction on this, probably check out like my Algebra 1, Algebra 2 course. You can find links to those in the description below. If you're at the pre-calculus level, I even get into functions, that much more advanced. Okay, again, this is a topic that's going to be with you throughout all of mathematics. Okay, so if you understand what I just did with f of 2, okay, or to evaluate this function for f of 2, well, then we're going to basically apply the same concept to find f of a plus b. Okay, so I'm going to show you that right now. But before I show you that, I'm going to show you this, which is my lovely invitation to you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you do, hit that notification button. You have no idea of the positive impact this has on my channel. It's basically the fuel that keeps me going. If you're new to my channel, I just want to tell you that I have 2,000 plus math videos from basic math to advanced math, calculus, and everything in between. And my objective is to take all my years of experience and all the schools of hard knocks, and not only my mistakes in math, all the students, all the papers and homework and tests and quizzes, all those years, and kind of roll it up and give it to you. Okay, because a lot of you struggle in math, and it doesn't have to be that way. I guess that's what I want to say. What you need is clear and understandable instruction. That's what I'm trying to do, is teach this stuff in a way that you like and understand. Okay, so back to the problem. All right, so as we talked about, a function is a rule. This is the input value. So if I want to find f of a plus b, well, my input value for this function is a plus b. It's whatever is inside these parentheses. So I'm going to replace this x with an a plus b. So that means this x with parentheses, I'm going to replace it with an a plus b. This x here, I'll replace it with an a plus b. And now I'm going to have to do the respective algebra. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. Okay, and this is exactly how you would want to set this problem up. So given this function, let's find f of a plus b. So you can see here, I'm replacing these x's with a plus b. Okay, so hopefully you are up for some algebra. Okay, and the algebra that we need to do is to figure out what a plus b squared is. Okay, of course, we're going to figure out what this is, but let's go ahead and evaluate or simplify what a plus b squared is. So a plus b squared is a plus b times a plus b, and here you could use like the FOIL technique or any other technique because we're multiplying binomials. Okay, the FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, last. So the way it works is this. Here are the first terms of each binomial. So that's a times a is a squared. The outer terms is a times b. So that's what comes next. The inner terms is b times a or a times b. I'll write it as ab because this is ab. Okay, ba and ab are the same. And then the last terms is b times b, which is b squared. Okay, so I have an AB here and an AB here, so that gives me 2AB. Okay, let me go ahead and just scroll down here so we can see it a little bit better. So we have a squared plus 2AB plus b squared. That is what this part of the problem is. However, we still need to clean this up as well. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so just to kind of see where we're at again. So we have a plus b squared. We got this trinomial right there. And now I have minus 4 times a plus b, or I can think of this as plus negative 4. Just use the distributive property. So negative 4 times a is negative 4a, negative 4 times this b, negative 4b. and this would be my final expression, okay? So f of a plus b, again, or this f of a plus b for this particular function this was the setup, and this was the answer. Okay, so I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to understand functions in mathematics. It's a huge, huge topic. Matter of fact, if you are taking some sort of math course, or if you can kind of recall back when you have taken courses, think about the word functions, right, that you've seen, all right, in math, right? Functions. And I always kind of like to tell my students, listen, the root word of functions is fun. These functions are fun, right? But what kind of functions do you study? You study linear functions, quadratic functions, okay, exponential functions, trigonometric functions, logarithmic functions. This word is specifically being used, functions, right? Rational functions, et cetera, et cetera. So, this word is behind many of the topics that you learn, functions, but there's very specific, you know, properties and things that come to mind when you use the word functions. That's why you need to really understand functions. Again, if you are struggling in this topic, do not, get, down and out about it. Anyone can learn anything. It's just a matter of you first, one, getting the right instruction, and then two, practicing, practicing, practicing. Okay, so with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.